Picture a world where the Mongol Empire, the most extensive land empire in history, is at the height of its power. The early 13th century was an era of unprecedented conquest and exploration. The Mongols, under the leadership of Genghis Khan, had embarked upon a mission of global domination that would forever change the course of history. From the frigid steppes of Mongolia, they had spread out across Asia with a speed and ferocity unmatched in the annals of warfare. They had toppled the mighty Khwarezmian Empire. They had swept through Eastern Europe like a wildfire, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Their horsemen, armed with composite bows and a unique style of mobile warfare, seemed invincible. They were a force of nature, an unstoppable tide that threatened to engulf the known world. But while the Mongols were busy expanding their empire, another power was rising in the Middle East. The Mamluks of Egypt, a caste of slave soldiers, had overthrown their Ayyubid masters and seized control of the Sultanate. They were fierce warriors, disciplined and well-trained, and they were not about to let their homeland be overrun by Mongol invaders. The Mamluks knew that a confrontation with the Mongols was inevitable. They began to prepare for war, fortifying their cities, and training their soldiers for the battle that was to come. At the same time, the Mongols were pushing further and further west, their eyes set on the rich lands of Egypt and Syria. As the Mongol juggernaut rolled westward, one power stood in its way, the Mamluks of Egypt. This clash of titans would take place at Ain Jalut, a spring in the Jezreel Valley of Palestine. The stage was set for one of the most decisive battles in history, a battle that would determine the fate of the Islamic world and halt the Mongol advance in its tracks. In the spring of 1260, the Mongols, under the command of Hulagu Khan, launched their invasion of the Mamluk Sultanate. The Mongols, a force known for their ruthless efficiency and indomitable strength, set their sights on the Middle East. The Mamluk Sultanate, a beacon of Islamic power and culture, stood in their path. The Mongols began their invasion with a ferocity that was as breathtaking as it was terrifying. Their first target, the city of Baghdad. The city fell, not merely defeated, but utterly destroyed. Libraries filled with invaluable knowledge were turned to ashes, and the Tigris River ran black with the ink from countless manuscripts. The Mongols, in their conquest, had extinguished the beacon of learning and culture that was Baghdad. Yet the Mongols were not satisfied. Their eyes turned to Damascus, the jewel of Syria. The city fell quickly, unable to withstand the relentless Mongol onslaught. And with Damascus under their control, the Mongols had a clear path to Egypt, the heart of the Mamluk Sultanate. The Mamluks, however, were not idle. Recognizing the threat, they strategically retreated, not out of fear, but out of necessity. They needed time to prepare, to gather their strength for the battle that was to come. They understood that the Mongols were not an enemy that could be defeated through brute strength alone. Strategy, cunning, and a deep understanding of their enemy were their only hope. And so, the Mamluks prepared. They studied their enemy, learning their tactics and their weaknesses. They trained their soldiers, preparing them for the fight of their lives. They fortified their defenses, readying their cities for the onslaught that was sure to come. With the stage set for battle, the Mongols and Mamluks prepared to face off at Ain Jalut. The Mongols with their seemingly unstoppable force and the Mamluks with their strategic cunning and unwavering resolve. A battle that would not only decide the fate of the Mamluk Sultanate but the course of history itself. On September 3, 1260, the two armies clashed at Ain Jalut. A vast expanse of land, nestled in the Jezreel Valley of Palestine, became the arena for a battle that would alter the course of history. A fierce battle, resonating with the clash of steel and the cries of warriors, unfolded on this fateful day. The Mongol army, a force that had conquered vast territories with an almost supernatural efficiency, initiated the assault. Commanded by Ketbuka, the Mongols charged relentlessly, their arrows darkening the sky, their war cries echoing through the valley. Known for their unparalleled ability to coordinate attacks and their use of advanced siege weaponry, the Mongols seemed an unstoppable force. But the Mamluk Sultanate, under the leadership of Sultan Qutuz and his commander Baibars, had a plan. They knew the Mongols' strength and feared their reputation, but they also knew that a head-on assault would be suicide. So, they adopted a strategy as old as warfare itself, the feigned retreat. The Mamluk forces, appearing to be overwhelmed, began to retreat, drawing the Mongols deeper into their territory. The Mongols, confident in their invincibility, chased the seemingly defeated Mamluks, unaware of the trap they were being lured into. The Mamluk Sultan Qutuz, a man of great tactical genius, had carefully chosen the battleground, a place where the Mongols' numbers and mobility would be limited. And then, when the moment was ripe, the Mamluks turned. The feigned retreat was revealed for what it truly was, a clever ruse to draw the Mongols into a vulnerable position. The Mamluks counterattacked with a ferocity that caught the Mongols off guard. Under the leadership of Baibars, the Mamluk forces charged, their swords gleaming in the sunlight, their eyes filled with determination. The Mongols, for the first time, found themselves on the back foot. Their numbers, which had seemed a guarantee of victory, now became a hindrance in the narrow confines of Ain Jalut. The Mamluks, fighting with the desperation of men defending their homes and faith, gradually turned the tide of battle. The struggle was fierce, the cost in lives immense. But when the dust settled, and the echoes of battle faded, the result was clear. The Mongols, the seemingly invincible force that had swept across Asia and Eastern Europe, had been defeated. In a stunning upset, the Mamluks defeated the seemingly invincible Mongol army, marking the first major defeat of the Mongols in open battle. The Battle of Ain Jalut was not merely a clash of armies, it was a battle of wills, a battle of strategies, and ultimately, a battle that would reshape the world. The Battle of Ain Jalut was more than just a military victory for the Mamluks. It was a pivotal moment that echoed through the annals of history, shaping the course of civilizations and cultures. Upon the dust settling on the battlefield, the Mongols found themselves leaderless, the mighty Hulagu Khan having succumbed to the inevitable clutches of death. This loss of leadership, coupled with the defeat at Ain Jalut, marked the beginning of the end for the Mongol Empire's expansion. It was a blow from which they would never fully recover. Simultaneously, the Mamluks, under the leadership of Sultan Qutuz and his successor Baibars, began to rise in power. The victory at Ain Jalut catalyzed the establishment of the Mamluk Sultanate as a major power in the Middle East. Their reign lasted for several centuries, leaving an indelible mark on the region's history and culture. But the Battle of Ain Jalut was not just of regional significance. Its reverberations were felt across continents. The Mamluks' victory was instrumental in preserving Islam, which at the time was under serious threat from the Mongols. Had the battle swung in favor of the Mongols, the Islamic world could have faced severe devastation, potentially altering the course of history. Moreover, the halt of the Mongol advance at Ain Jalut had profound implications for Africa and Western Europe. The Mongols, who had been sweeping across continents, were stopped in their tracks. This saved these regions from potential Mongol conquest, preserving their distinct cultures and civilizations. The Battle of Ain Jalut was indeed a turning point, a moment that demonstrated the power of unity and courage against overwhelming odds. It was a testament to human resilience, to the ability of cultures and civilizations to withstand threats and emerge stronger. And so, the Battle of Ain Jalut marked a turning point in history, a moment when the seemingly unstoppable Mongol tide was turned back, preserving a multitude of cultures and civilizations from Mongol conquest.